3, 4.
Rev up your engine!
Aaron Acevedo says, what do you think of 2014 Nissan Frontiers? Are they good trucks? Okay, I don't like Nissan products that were made after Renault took over, but the Nissan Frontiers are decent pickup trucks. You can get them a lot cheaper than you're going to find a Toyota pickup truck. And quality-wise, the Frontiers, they're about the same as a Ford Ranger. They're decent pickup trucks. Now, especially if you're talking used. I got a customer who just bought a used Frontier. $5,000 for a nice truck. That same year, Toyota Tacoma would have cost him $10,000 or $12,000. So, you can get the used ones a lot cheaper. I know they're not as well made as the Toyotas. For the money, you can often get a pretty good deal if you buy used. Khaki Chrisman says, hey Scotty, I'm looking at a 94 Ford Ranger with a 2.4 4-cylinder with 85,000 miles for $2,000. Needs work on the heater flap. What do you think? It wouldn't bother me at all. It's too hot here in Texas anyway, so we don't use the heaters. We bypass them all the time. Now, it's a 94. I doubt that that's really only got 85,000 miles. But if it does have only 85,000 and they can prove it, I'd snap it up because those things can last a lot longer than that. They're reputable little engines, but, you know, being that old, have a mechanic check it out, especially, you didn't say what it has, but if it has an automatic transmission, you want him to check out the transmission closely because the transmission, if it's an automatic, is the weakest thing that a Ranger has, so you'd want that checked out. Fernando Baraja says, I got a 2009 Nissan Murano all-wheel drive, 130,000 miles, the transmission's starting to go under pressure. What should I do? Should I sell it? Yes, get rid of it as soon as possible. Those horrendous Jatco transmissions are garbage. You got 130,000 miles on it. That's as long as they generally last. Very expensive to rebuild. I wouldn't try a used one. They're usually worn out. Get rid of it. Get a Toyota or a Honda. If it was a Toyota or a Honda, you could keep driving it, but not the Nissans. That's about as far as they can possibly go. Shieldright says, what do you think of a 99 Dodge Ram 1500, 5.2 liter? Well, if it's still running, I'd be amazed. But then again, back in the 90s, Dodge was making much better vehicles than they are today. Still, you would have been better off with a Ford. And the GM was still making decent ones in 99. I got customers with 98, 99 Silverados. They're still running strong. The new ones, no. But the old ones, yes. If you can get it cheap and it still runs okay, it could be a good knock-around truck. Don't pay that much for it. It's never going to be a collector's item or anything. Jay Dixon says, what are some good cars under $10,000? Well, I'm assuming you mean used cars and not new ones. The only new one that I know of is a Chinese company, Geely, whatever it's called. They came out with an electric SUV that's going to be under $10,000, like $9,800. Brand new electric car. By looking at that. But if you're talking about just a plain old car under $10,000, my advice, look around for decent, used, somewhat older Toyota or Lexus. Depends what you want. I got a marvelous ES300 Lexus for my wife for $3,000 with 60,000 miles, but it was a customer's car. His father died. He didn't want it, so I got a great deal on that. Heck, I bought my Celica for $350 10 years ago. So there's cars out there if you look around. It just depends how old you want and what kind of quality you want. I would stick to Toyota and Lexus, though, if you want to get your bang for your buck. Sammy T says, hey, Scotty, I got a distinct tapping noise in my 02 Corolla, 90,000 miles. The dealer says come from the intake manifold, but they want to charge a fortune to diagnose the thoughts. That's 18 years old. A lot of my customers make some noise. Generally, either the valves are clacking a little, fuel injectors are ticking, so get a stethoscope and try to pinpoint it. Now, if you think it's a fuel injector and that seems to be clicking, unplug them one at a time. The noise goes away. If it runs okay, who cares? A lot of times they tick, they click, and they run okay, who cares? Now, let's say it is a valve in the engine clacking. You're not going to rebuild the engine. Just drive it until it drops. They can sometimes go years and years that way. Stang Phenom says, Scotty, is living in mountain areas or hill areas good or bad for a car? Well, bad generally. I mean, cars like going flat. If you're going up and down all the time, it wears things out faster. That's just the way that it goes. And if you live real high, like Denver and higher, you know, in the Rocky Mountains, there's less oxygen in the air, and so the vehicles get worse gas mileage. Now, in the olden days, you used to either have to reprogram the computer fuel injection or rejet your carburetors at high altitude over a mile. But modern cars, the systems the fuel injection system, so generally any car will run good, but you'll get worse gas mileage. And of course, go climbing up all the time, you're going to wear the engine, the transmission, and going down, you're probably going to hit the brakes a lot. You're going to wear the brakes out. They wear out faster. Vic Pak says, I'm thinking of getting a G35 Coupe automatic as a daily driver. Are they good? If not, suggest a fun daily driver. All right. They're money pits when they age, but they generally don't fall apart till they get 130, 140 or more miles on it, 100,000 miles. So, if you can find one with 20 or 30 or 40 or 50,000 miles, you get it cheap enough, it could be a fun car. But don't buy a high mileage one, they'll bite you in the rear end. You want a high mileage one or a good price one, get a Lexus. They last 2 to 3 times as long as those cars do. Or even, look at a Toyota Avalon. They're pretty luxurious inside. Carter says, Scotty, what do you think about a 2008 Cobalt SS Turbo 5-speed manual? I'm thinking it's glad somebody else bought it, not me. Oh, those GM cars are terrible, especially the turbocharged ones. Turbos go out, the engines go out. Stay away from one of those things. They're not what they used to be. They were great back in the day. Not the new ones, though. Beach Boy says, 08 Toyota Sienna transmission, drain and fill. Any pointers to keep it lasting a long time? Yeah, just drain and fill it like every 30,000 miles. You can just drain it, whatever comes out, put it back in. That's it. As long as it's not leaking, and Toyota generally don't get leaking in transmission problems, so as long as the transmission's dry, no fluid's coming out, just drain out, measure how much comes in, pump new fluid back in, and only use the Toyota fluid, and that'll last as long as it possibly can. Realize when you change transmission fluid, only a portion comes out, sometimes less than 20% of what's in there. You might get 3 quarts out, it might hold 12 and a half. So you just drain and fill it, say every 30,000 miles. Dennis C says, hey Scotty, will the 2015 RAV4 front-wheel drive last longer than all-wheel drive? Generally they do because there's less moving parts. They also get better gas mileage, and they're easier to fix because there's less things in the way. And if, God forbid, the transmission goes out, you're going to pay twice as much to fix a transmission in one that's all-wheel drive versus a front-wheel drive one. So, yeah, if you don't need all-wheel drive, don't get it. A lot of people think they do, but they really don't. Front-wheel drive vehicles drive perfectly good in the snow. My mother lives in Buffalo and has a Corolla front-wheel drive, and she never gets stuck. Todd says, 07 Lexus Gx470, best vehicle I've ever owned. Gas hog, but so worth it. Yeah, well, if you want to get another Lexus V8, you better hurry up, because in 2 years, Lexus said they're not going to make V8s anymore. They're only going to V6s. Yeah, those are good cars. They were gas hogs, but they were well made. The story behind it is before they made them, it's Toyota makes them. Toyota sent some guys to the beaches of California for a year. They lived on the beach and they studied to see what did rich Americans want to drive. And then they made what they thought they wanted to buy, and they certainly hit the nail on the head with those Lexuses. Spider Eater Spider-Man says, hi, can I use chip fat in my diesel Urus? Yes, you can. It's an oil. They will run on that. Now, you do have to do certain things. It has to be filtered, and in the winter, you have to heat it up. And when you use stuff like that, the pros that actually do it, they usually have a 2 or 3 gallon diesel tank too, and they start the vehicle when it's cold or all the time on the actual diesel fuel, and once it gets running, then they shut that off, and then they use the chip fuel or peanut oil fuel, whatever they got, and run it there. But you got to have a pretty good filtration system and realize that the chip fat is going to congeal at colder temperatures a lot faster than the diesel fuel. It's got to have preheaters and all kinds of stuff on it. It's not just a simple pour it in and drive your little French fry machine down the road. Sumana So says, hey Scotty, my truck has an internal rack movement. When it eventually leaks, should I get it new or rebuilt? Thanks. Well, if you're going to keep the truck, get a new one. The rebuilt ones, some of those things take upwards of 1,500 pounds per square inch pressure. Somebody rebuilds it, generally means they take it apart and put new seals. Hey, if the sleeves are worn, the seals aren't going to stop it from leaking for all that long, it'll leak again. I detest rebuilt racks. I used to install them for customers. A bunch of them bit me in the rear end. I've gone so far now that if somebody does want to do that, I say, you buy the rack, I guarantee I put it on right. If it leaks or has problems, you got to pay me again, because I'm not going to use a rebuilt one that I buy. I only buy new ones. Mike Chalette says, Scotty, Mike from Canada. Should I take the cat off my 97 Vet? Well, yeah, if you're scratching the paint, take them off. I bought it last August. It runs good, 70,000 miles. Now, I don't know what the laws are in Canada. Now, if they don't have any laws for all cars, go ahead and take it off. It'll run better without them. They are strictly anti-pollution devices. Catalytic converters do one thing. They burn hydrocarbons. You take it off, the vehicle will run better. That's just the way it goes. Less heat, less restriction. I don't know what the laws are in Canada, so you find out. Or, if you're an outlaw and you want to break the law, well, go ahead. Rex L says, Scotty, my car feels shaky when I hit bumps. I asked for front wheel replacement, but the mechanic was trying to sell me wheel alignment and coolant exchange, transmission fluid, and charged me $900. Is it a rip-off, and the fluid was changed last year? Yes, the guy's trying to rip you off. It's just how those things are. If it's mainly the front, the steering wheel, you need new front struts. That's just common sense. They will wear out. It's got 150,000 miles, and it's 10 years old. So, you know, go someplace else. Try to find an honest mechanic, and you say, look, you know, I think it's going to need struts. It feels kind of shaky. Could you check them out and give me a price? And if his price is high, then start pricing around at other places. He has the best deal. Or, if you want, it's not that hard to do. Watch my videos on how to replace suspension, struts, and shocks, and then you can do it yourself. It's not rocket science.
So if you never want to miss another one of my new car repair videos, remember to ring that bell.